Hi guys, it's Approachable. How's everyone doing? Good, 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 I hope. Today I wanted to talk about the famous, or should I say infamous, Santal 33 by Labo. A little bit late to the game, you might say, but if you watch my channel, you'll know that I review things as and when I see fit, and if I didn't review it now, I wouldn't be able to give you the seven cheaper alternatives I'm going to give you at the end of the video. So for now, let's talk about it and do a mini review and chat, and then I'll give you 7 cheaper alternatives to this fragrance because it's a cult classic. I also feel like it has suffered a fate worse than death, but I'll get into that in a second. So, Santal 33, Labo, came out in 2011. The perfumer is Frank Vogel, and this fragrance is something that I hear about and smell at least once a week. In my job, I hear about it probably twice or 3 times a week. I feel like it's a city person perfume. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. I feel like if you live in a city, you know about this perfume. Once you've smelled it, you will know what it smells like forever, and you will be able to recognize it everywhere. Something's changed in the world. I used to hear people say, I wear Santal 33. And now I hear people say, I wear Santal 33 and I'd want to change because too many people wear it, I smell it everywhere. There was a time when it was a really cool thing, and even to this day, 8 years later, companies are still jumping on the bandwagon and creating fragrances that smell like Santal 33. A lot of them cheaper, a lot of them given are a little bit more wonky on the skin when you wear them. But I'll talk about that at the end. For now, let's talk about the notes. So the notes are cardamom, iris, violet, this is what they say, ambroxan, a modern synthetic molecule that gives volume, it gives massive punch and diffusiveness to a fragrance. Sandalwood, cedarwood, papyrus, and leather. I see mixed up notes all the time. And the 33 in the Santal 33 name denotes how many ingredients there are. That's kind of Labo's thing. So that's that part of it. In my brain, a lot of those things don't match up. So I'll tell you about those in a second. But a bit about Labo. They're a really cool company. They look like a lab, and when you buy their perfumes, they blend them in front of you. And there's a couple of them I really, really like. They're kind of pricey, but hey, if you love a fragrance, you're going to pay the money. And I will say, first off as well, about the actual fragrance, that it performs. I can see why people like it. I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. It's great. I love the smell of it. But like anything, too much of something can be off-putting. Still, Shalimar's really popular and it's been around since 1928. So the theme of this one is the old Marlboro adverts. They portray it as a kind of leathery fragrance and also fiery. They say that it's like someone sitting by a fire, there's smoke, all of this kind of stuff, and that doesn't translate at all to me either. And the biggest thing I want to say about this fragrance is, and I ranted about it previously, it does not smell like sandalwood. Labo have this way of naming their perfumes names that don't smell like the name. So Santal 33 does not smell like sandalwood. And that jars me a little bit because I feel like it's putting something out there in the universe that people are going to get confused by. Sandalwood is an elusive, flowy, soft, buttery wood, and this fragrance is none of that. Their ylang fragrance doesn't smell like ylang ylang. I could go on, but I won't. How does this one smell? So Santal 33 ultimately, to me, is a green fragrance. It's leafy, it's a bit dry, it feels like dry leaves, and it's a tiny bit spicy from I don't know what, but it is. I'm smelling it on a card today, but I have worn this fragrance many times, believe me, and all of its counterparts as well, for this video purpose. This fragrance is green, it's leafy, and this is what brings me to tell you that they say violet, but it's not, it's violet leaf. They use violet leaf in this as opposed to an accord of violet, which is that purple, dainty, powdery, sweet flower, and all of the other counterparts that I've smelled that are considered dupes of this contain violet leaf. It's the main star of the show. There is a leathery feeling to this, and that comes from the iris. So there's a softness, there is definitely a green feeling. It's a bit rough, it's a little bit spiky, but like I said, it performs like crazy. It's a great fragrance, it smells really nice. I'm not taking away from that for 1 second. I'm here mainly to talk about the crazy balloon that's exploded over the world or cities, and everyone is talking about Santal 33. If I had a penny for every customer that came to my shop and said, I wear Santal 33, I'd have £2.46. It's very linear. Every time I've worn this fragrance, I don't see a change in it at all. It lasts forever, but it doesn't evolve. So when you spray it on my skin, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a dry, it's kind of touching on herbal a little bit smell, and it's green. It's kind of a tiny bit earthy as well. It's not sandalwood. Sandalwood is sensual. Sandalwood is flowy and exotic and makes me think of faraway places. This is modern. It's nice. It kind of treads the line between a little bit sharp and a little bit soft. And I guess it's really hard to put into words unless you smelled it, but once you have, you will recognize it everywhere. I smell it all the time. It just gets a little bit lost in translation for me between this open fire, smoke, Marlboro advert and sandalwood over here in the description, and what I actually smell. It's like two different briefs were given, like the perfumer made something that wasn't the brief, or the perfumer made it and the Labo made the brief and it didn't work. Still not taking away from the fact that it's a great fragrance, really not. I like it. It's woody. It's very, very woody, but it's not sandalwoody. It's something else. It's probably more cedarwood than it is sandalwood, because it does have like a pencil shaving type feeling, but with green leaves added on top and then dried out. I was going to say in a furnace, but no, that would have made it scorched and taken it back to the actual theme that it is. But that's pretty much it. It lasts for a very, 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 very long time. So I think it's worth the price tag. But now I'm going to tell you about the 7 alternatives that I have found. I'm sure there are many more, but these are the 7 that I have found. So to my nose, the closest match and the only other alternative that doesn't go a little bit wonky on my skin, and that's a personal thing, is Beso Negro by Beso Beach. Beso Beach are an offshoot company from Cana, Barcelona. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand. They make El Born, they make Palo Santo. Kieren is a very popular fragrance by them. They made 3 fragrances for a swanky beach club in Ibiza, and Beso Negro contains violet leaf, it contains sandalwood, it contains patchouli, and to me, when I wear it, it's the closest match. It's £140. I won't talk about the price of all of them, I'll probably put them in the description below. But yeah, that to me is the best alternative, so I'm starting with that one. The second one is this one. It's by an Australian company called Mihan Cosmetics, and the fragrance is called Petrichor Plains. When I first smelled this, my immediate reaction was, it smells like Santal 33. It's a little bit different though. It's in that world, but this one does have the earthiness. It does have that slight petrichor thing, so I find this one interesting. This one does go kind of sour on me. I don't know what it is in Santal 33's counterparts and all of its, I'm not going to say dupes, but let's say friends. I don't know what it is in them, but a lot of them go a little bit like a super sharp woody and sourness. This one does have that happening, but it does have Santal 33 DNA going on. I think if you're a perfumer, you're at risk. If you put woods and violet leaf together, you're at risk at creating something that smells like Santal 33. I'll just put it out there. The third one is by a company called Kieren NYC. I went to one of their events recently, or somewhere towards the beginning of the year in Shoreditch in London. They've got a fragrance called Santal Sky. It was my favourite of the bunch. because it smelled like Santal 33 and I like it. It was another one that kind of went a little bit sharp on me though, so you're gonna, if you want to get an alternative, maybe get samples and test them out. I don't want to be standing here telling you to buy something that goes sour on you, but it's just my skin, I don't know. I can't predict that. But yeah, this one was definitely a Santal 33 cousin, sister, close cousin. The next one on the list I've never smelled, but I have it on good authority that it smells a lot like Santal 33, and it is by Zara, the Italian clothing company. They happen to be my favourite clothes shop, and they've got a fragrance called Fragrance Number 1. Voila, done. The next one on the list really hurts me to say, but it's true. Phaedon Paris by Pierre Guillaume has just released a brand new fragrance called Ciel Immobile. It's literally, I think he only spoke about it in April, and it's out now. It's themed on Greece, and it's got fig tree bark in it and woods, and yeah, it's another Santal 33 dupe. I don't like the word dupe, but Santal 33 inspired by, let's just say that. The next one is by a company called Commodity, and they have a fragrance called Book, and this one I smelled, again, don't need to say it. Their fragrances are kind of cool. I've smelled a few of them and they're designed to be layered and make your own story, but they obviously went down the route of creating something that was approachable and familiar to a lot of people, and that one is another one. And the last one is a little bit of a departure from that theme. It's a beautiful fragrance. I actually think it's nicer and has more depth and is a bit more interesting than said Santal 33, and it's called Flashback in New York, and it's by Olfactive Studio. The main note's violet leaf. This one brings in leather as well, but it has clary sage, it has papyrus, which I think I've seen mentioned in Santal 33 literature before. This one's kind of deeper, it's just more interesting. I don't know, it's a bit smoother as well. It's not so dry and leafy. This one is probably my favourite alternative, just because it's a little bit different. It has the core and the backbone of Le Labo's fragrance, but it has a few more dimensions that just make it, I don't know, nicer, I think. So that's it, that's my brief overview of how it smells and 7 alternatives that you can try if you love that fragrance but can't really afford it, because it's not the cheapest thing in the world. I will say, for the record and just as a final thought for this video, the original's the best. I mean, when is ever something else that follows on going to be better in terms of things that are that similar? It outperforms everything, but yeah, it's still a great fragrance. I can see why people love this one, so if you haven't smelled it, try it out, let me know your thoughts. But today's been an entire Santal 33 day, and I don't want to say that word anymore. I think I'm over it for now. Anyway guys, I'm out on trying to make the world smell better one video at a time. I'll see you guys really soon. Goodbye.